RMJ movie reviews back again with another happy Halloween horror movie review, whatever you want to call it. All right, like I told y'all, I'm always gonna choose one from every popular franchise. I'm not gonna do all the movies. I just don't feel like doing an entire franchise. So right now, right off rip, I chose to do one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies from the 80s. And this is like a 4-pack that I literally found at my grandmother's house. And my grandmother was like, get it out of my house because one of my cousins left it. And he doesn't really care about movies. Or actually, he's like really younger. He's like in his 20s. So either way, but the one I remember, because not all the movies are even here, it's only got 1 and 2. So I chose to do Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Controversial pick, I know. I'm just going to break this down right off rip. I have always particularly had a soft spot for Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. It wasn't until I became older and, the internet started kicking in and all that stuff that I realized that there's a lot of hatred for this movie. Because every group has the one. 2, people don't really like. People don't like 5. If Freddy's dead. Those are kind of the ones that people really kind of despise out the franchise. Again, so I'll give you my background with Nightmare on Elm Street 2. I saw Nightmare on Elm Street 2 when it very first came to home video, which I don't know if that might have been 1986, but I can still distinctly remember my older brothers and sisters and my cousin who were 10 years older than me. They're in their mid-40s. They were probably about 15 or 16, and they rented it from a video store, and it's that media VHS cover where it's like Freddy, and he's kind of turned like that, and he's got the hands out like that, and you can see the house in the background and the fire behind him. They rented that cover, and they had it, and we watched it. And let me tell you, I was 5 years old. Freddy's Revenge absolutely scared me to death. I mean, it just terrified me. Every scene with Freddy, the part on the bus, the part with him terrorizing, when you've got the body, I've got the brains, scared me to death. Those were the ones that I remember really terrified me. The thing in the shower with the coach, everything with Freddy just terrified me. This movie made me cry, I remember. And I tried to get back, my cousin tried to take me up in my parents' room. My parents were just like, look, we're trying to sleep, so you're going to go back downstairs and watch Freddy's Revenge with them because you wanted to hang with the big kids anyway. But I think really that my parents were probably like drinking or something like that. That's what I think about it in retrospect, So I just went back on down there and watched Freddy's Revenge with my brother, my sister, and my older cousin. And I just closed my eyes every time I heard, or that creepy music every time it goes to a night shot. Now, that's my background of Freddy's Revenge. But, I always thought it was an okay horror film. And then up until when I watched it again as a teenager in the 90s, kind of the early, mid-90s, I thought it was okay. Now, again, like these other pictures, I have not watched this and sat and watched it all the way through in quite a few years. It's been a long time since I sat and watched Nightmare 2 from beginning to end. Now I can kind of agree with the issues. And also, too, as you guys see in my pack over here, my media DVD collection, I have Never Sleep Again, the documentary on DVD. So I know the history behind Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It all totally makes sense now. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is a completely incoherent, lackluster sequel to Wes Craven's 1984 original. Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 original version, regardless of, some of the dated special effects, really that's the biggest issue is the dated special effects, some of the occasional cheesy acting. It's a very coherent story, really creepy. It's scary, and the only thing that honestly takes away from it is just the fact that some of the stuff is dated. But other than that, it's a very good horror story, very well told, and mostly well acted. This here, as I learned from Never Sleep Again, was a pure cash grab. They just wanted to throw together a sequel real quick, I guess because they own the rights to the Nightmare on Elm Street title, and they just wanted to throw something together to cash in on the first one. And it's a really, and you can tell, this is just like slap shot. What I could really give an example of is like, okay, let's say guys, all of us who were in college and have graduated from college, all of us who were in college, right, when we were 19, 20 years old, whatever. Say you got a 10-page paper that's due in a month, but we do it the night before it's due. And basically, you come up with a C paper, right? Or maybe even a D paper, right? That's Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is a movie that is not in any way or level well thought out. Like I said, the story is not cohesive. It's incoherent. There's things that just don't... It totally disregards the rules set up by the original movie. Because Freddy terrifies you in your dreams, right? That's the whole niche of the first one, is you're not really sure if are they in a dream, is it reality, then you find out it's a dream, and then, now it's reality. This movie just does not care. They just said the hell with it. And the whole idea, it's like, basically, Nancy has long been gone. They don't really explain what happened to Nancy, but they do explain that Johnny Depp got killed in the first one, and the mother killed herself in the living room, which was Freddy pulling that blow up doll through the window at the end of the first movie, right? So anyway, Jesse and Clu Gallagher from Return of the Living Dead and his beautiful MILF Gilf mom move into the house with his little sister, and into Nancy's house where all this Freddy stuff went down, and the blade in the furnace in the basement. And basically weird stuff just starts happening, and Freddy just basically starts terrorizing and tormenting Jesse, because Jesse's not the most masculine of personalities. I'm not even talking about him being a guy. He's just not a very strong-willed person. He's a very weak... The character is a very weak person, low self-esteem, so Freddy zeroes in on him and starts terrorizing him, and basically he wants to use him as an avatar to murder in the real world. That's the story of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's absolutely retarded. The subtitle in the title, Freddy's Revenge, makes no sense at all. I guess the revenge is that he's using Jesse to kill in real life, but it's stupid. It makes no sense. Now, rewatching it again, that was just the biggest things. It's just stuff that it's almost like they just randomly wrote things that they thought would be creepy, like the parakeet exploding. That is controversial. And really watching the movie now, it makes no sense. Okay, the house is really hot. The house is really hot. I guess it's really hot just because Freddy likes to hang out in the boiler room. So I guess he keeps turning the heat up because he wants to burn himself again, or maybe he wants to heat his blades while his glove is in the furnace. I don't know, but the house is really hot. So in the meantime, Jesse just decides that he wants to wake up in the middle of the night, and he sees like his candle is burning, his lamp is burning, the house is hot, he keeps sweating, he can't sleep, and then he decides one night he should just visit some random S&M gay club where people got the cruising leather on, and the straps, and the spiky wristbands and all of that. I don't know. It's retarded. And then he sees Marshall Bell, Will Wheaton and John Cusack's dad from Stand By Me, and he's got the leather get up on, and he wants him to go work out. I guess he wants him to hop in the shower so I could presume rape him because he's pulling out some jump ropes. I don't know. That's just what my mind came to. I guess that's what he's going to do. The movie doesn't even know what he wants to do. I mean, the coach is in the S&M. And why Jesse goes back to the gym with him when he's not actually in school, I don't know. I guess Jesse wants to get boned by his coach. It's stupid. I don't get any of it. It makes no sense. And I don't think the writers even care. What else? What other stupid things in this movie that make no sense at all? There's just a ton of things that just do not make sense. All of it is dumb. Now, I will say they play a little bit with the dream logic, a little bit. And I will say there's scenes where it could be cool, like when, Jesse's first confrontation, his first meeting with Freddy, where Freddy goes, "I've got the body and the brains," and he pulls his head, and Robert Englund just lets out that evil laugh. That's cool. That's cool. Him in the basement, "Kill for me, Jesse," and he puts his hand in it, and it burns his hand. Cool stuff. Of course, now this is, I feel two ways. Most of this movie is a bore. Most of it is a bore. I'd say the stuff on the bus I like in the very, very beginning when Freddy is kind of going like this and moving his hand on the seat. Cool stuff. Robert Englund is cranked up to 11 in that scene. He's giving it his all. And to be honest, The only redeeming quality about this film is Robert Englund. And I was actually surprised because I hadn't watched this movie all the way through in so long. He's not even really in that much of the movie. I'd probably say out this hour and 25-minute movie, I think Robert Englund is probably on screen maybe 20 minutes out of this hour and a half movie. That's what I'm just guessing. You guys can Google it and find out. But he's the only saving grace. The score for this movie, it's a different score than the one used in the first one, which is okay. You know, this is time to try to be a different film. I don't know if the filmmakers knew they were making a different film. I don't know if they knew what kind of film they were making. But I will say I really like the score. And I saw on the special edition DVD, Never Sleep Again, how they were saying like they use a lot of whale sounds, you know, like, ooh, ooh, and it sounds really cool. And like, there's cool stuff. So Robert Englund and the score, and I will say some of the special effects in this thing are pretty awesome. But I will say maybe there's roughly about 2 gags in this movie that are awesome. I will say the gag where Freddy busts out of Jesse's body. Oh, that's an awesome old school practical effects. You see the eyeball. You see the eyeball in the throat, which Insidious 3 stole that. Cool sequence. And the other one is You Are All My Children Now, where he kills the kids at the pool party and with that fire behind his head and he goes like, that is badass. And I will say the subsequent sequels should have taken just the essence of the Freddy character in this film and in the one in Wes Craven's original movie. They should have carried that throughout all the movies. I mean, really, especially Freddy's Dead. And you know, and even though I've seen interviewers say that New Nightmare kind of went back to Freddy of 1 and 2, I don't particularly see it. I still think Freddy is overly... He may not be overly jokey in New Nightmare, but I still don't think he truly came back to how he was in 1 and 2. And I just really love that Robert Englund's interpretation of Freddy is that Freddy... Let me make one distinction here. You know, I've heard kids who didn't grow up in the 80s, some who maybe did, who weren't frequent horror fans like I was or some of my other friends. They think Freddy's funny, Freddy's funny, Freddy's funny. Freddy became funny by the time... Nightmare 3 is what started it, but Nightmare 4 and Freddy's Dead is But, and then the TV show, because the TV show was goofy, and I used to watch the TV show Freddy's Nightmares when it came on back in the day. That's funny Freddy. This here, regardless of how bad this movie is and its flaws, this is not a funny Freddy. This is an evil, dark, psychopathic, sick Freddy, and I love it. Matter of fact, I will say, out of the entire movies Robert Englund did, his interpretation of Freddy, just his acting and his presence, is my favorite in this film. Second would be the first one. The first one, I think, but but no, that's not knocking nothing in the first one, because, you know, he's really good in the first one too. But my favorite interpretation of Robert Englund's acting and just his evilness is in this film. Which, you know, is unfortunate because everything else around Robert Englund is just bad. And apparently, like they said, he wasn't even going to come back for this film. There's one shot in the shower room where it was somebody else. They weren't even going to pay the man. But, yeah, this is dark, evil Freddy. I mean, he bites the girl on her leg. I mean, it's some pretty cruel stuff in this movie. And I like that. That's what it should be. You know, I think the remake... And I hate the remake, I really do. But I will give them credit for kind of pushing an uncomfortable angle of making Freddy a pedophile, which is uncomfortable, it's icky. But I give them points for having the balls to go there, you know. But I really think that had they combined that icky element of the plot and made him doing stuff like biting people on the legs and as evil as he is in this film, I think ultimately they might have been able to hit it a little bit better, you know. But let's not talk about that piece of garbage. Back to Nightmare on Elm Street 2. But overall, it's just a bad film. It's just a bad film. As far as the acting is concerned, everybody here is good. A lot of people beat up on Mark Patton. And they really give the guy a lot of trash. But you know what? I've seen the dude do interviews. He seems like he's a really genuine guy. And you know, this dude, digressing, he went through it, man. he was really, because I guess in actual real life he was gay. And I guess the guy was really going through it, man. But, regardless of that, I really think he's good. His character is whiny. It ain't his fault. It's the way the movie is written. He's a whiny little, he's just a weak character in comparison to Nancy. So, a lot of cats are just knocking the sexual angle of it and the gay undertones in the movie, which that's something I didn't even catch until I got older, with the music montage in the room. How do you like that, Dad? I'm just like, what? And then, he's doing the thing with the stick, and it's just like, what? This is just retarded. I guess that was the intention. The writer said that the whole thing this was really supposed to be a coming out story. So you can tell right from that they were just screwing up totally from the beginning and had no concept. And, the stuff, look, I love the pool party scene. It's good for Grand Guignol, but it makes totally no sense at all. Freddy jumps through the window, then he disappears. It's like, this is just retarded, man. And then, oh, God, the ending. The ending is just, I even got to lean back when I say, the ending is so bad, the finale. I would say, at least in the first one, Nancy set a booby trap. She hit him with a sledgehammer. And then the final moment where Nancy she turns her back on him. That was badass. Like, strong character moment, right? Jesse gets rescued by his Meryl Streep looking girlfriend, which I think Kim Myers' his name. She's a beautiful woman. She's very pretty. And I really like her in this movie. I heard some other guys on YouTube reviewing and they said they don't like her. I don't care. I like her. I think she's very sweet. That's what I like about her character. She's very genuine. It's just the movie around her is bad. But, she kisses Freddy, and it turns into this Beauty and the Beast type of ending where he, melts and he dies. She kisses him. We're not even talking like a physical defeat. She just kisses him. He goes, falls in the corner and melts away, and then Jesse pops up. And it's like, what? This movie has no rules, no nothing. It just makes up a bunch, and then you got this thing with these two dogs, and I think the dogs are supposed, because they go to the boiler room, which I will give the film, I will give them points for that choice of that boiler room. They should have chose that location again. I'm sure that location probably doesn't even exist anymore. That building is probably torn down. But that was a creepy looking building. If they could have got that for the subsequent movies, I think that would have been pretty badass. But I will give an example. Like, if they would have stole some stuff in the remake from older Freddy films, I really think that could have been a cool idea to steal for the remake. Like, with the two dolls that have children's faces. Now, with CGI and a little bit of good practical effects, you could make something that's really creepy and cool. But as it stands right now, and I still remember seeing that scene on home video, it looked creepy when I was 5. Watching it now on a crystal clear DVD, it just looks bad, man. And I think the special effects guys even admit that they were just like, look, we just had to throw some stuff together because we were working on more important movies than this one. But it could have been creepy, but it just looks just dumb. This movie's just dumb. That's all it is to it. And there's really nothing else to say. The only saving grace is Robert Englund, and the score. And comes some of the cool special effects. Oh, there's one other cool special effect. When Jesse is making out with Lisa, and that tongue comes out on her tits. It was awesome. It was awesome. I remember when I saw that when I was a kid, I was watching with my brothers and sisters. I just thought it was so disgusting. It's funny now looking at it because it's not as gross as it was when I was a kid. But you guys got to remember, this was the mid-'80s when this stuff was coming out. It's not like now where we got YouTube, people bum fighting videos and suicide videos and mass shootings where we're so desensitized to just gross stuff. But back then, that was really gross. But I still give them points for that one. That was a cool one. Shows that little pervert in Freddy, But Nightmare on Elm Street 2, they just dropped the ball. Cash grab. You know what? I got a soft spot for it because I saw it when I was very young. So I still kind of give it the pass, only because Robert Englund and only because of a couple of the cool special effects. But it's a huge step down from Nightmare on Elm Street 1. They saved it with Dream Warriors, which I kind of want to review, but I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. But that's my review of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It was a tough sit, man. It was really a tough sit. If it wasn't for Robert Englund and those cool special effects, I don't know if I'd have made it through it. Because most of at least the first and second act of the movie is a complete bore. Thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, and share the video. And leave comments down below about Nightmare on Elm Street 2. How old you guys were the first time